Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. While advocates are pushing Maryland lawmakers to take up gun safety measures, moms demand action. Every Town for Gun Safety and Students Demand Action held a virtual advocacy day with lawmakers this morning. They say they want common sense gun laws in the state, including regulations on ghost guns. They also want lawmakers to override the governor's veto of background checks for shotguns and rifles.
Violent criminals, domestic abusers, and those who are not allowed to have guns from going around the law and getting them and creating havoc and violence. Unfortunately, as you know, the bill was vetoed by Governor Hogan.
Today, it's clearer than ever that we need to get guns out of the hands of dangerous extremists, as well as those who are in crisis and pose a danger to themselves or others.
Moms Demand Action says it's meeting with more than 100 lawmakers to try to strengthen Maryland's gun laws. Meantime, President Biden is set to sign an executive order to reopen the Affordable Care Act's federal insurance marketplace for 3 months. This will give Americans who need coverage during the pandemic a special chance to buy health plans. The online federal insurance exchange, known as HEALTH.MARYLAND.GOV, will open February 15th to May 15th. The Washington Post is reporting Biden also plans to eliminate rules that have made it more difficult for low-income people to join Medicaid. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is applauding the White House for opening enrollment for health insurance. Speaking on Capitol Hill this morning, the Democrat said the action will help many needy families.
Today's executive action will open up the ACA's enrollment period and take additional steps to expand health care. We're very excited about that because, of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic and we see this as a matter of life and death. Very different from the Trump administration, who fought the Affordable Care Act.
Pelosi, meantime, says she's meeting with retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore today. He's been appointed to conduct a review of Capitol Hill security following the January 6th insurrection. Meantime, GOP voters are leaving the party in droves since the Capitol riots on January 6. At least 30,000 voters have dropped their Republican affiliations, including in Maryland, where at least 2,300 have changed to the Democratic Party or registered as unaffiliated. Many have changed affiliations in swing states that were the heart of the battle for the White House and control of Congress. Voters switching parties is not unheard of, but recent data shows that far more Republicans have changed their voter registration than Democrats. As we told you yesterday, the vaccine rollout continues at a good pace in Prince George's County. Since being converted to a vaccination center, the Sports and Learning Center in Landover has been inoculating upwards of 800 people a day. But all is not going as smoothly as hoped. County officials announced this week that it was canceling appointments for people who did not live or work in Prince George's. CTV caught up with one of them.
He said that, sorry, sir, we made changes to the rules. You are right. You did everything right, but we made changes to the rules and you cannot be vaccinated today.
What's your reaction?
I was very frustrated, and I explained that I am a school teacher, that I do have cancer, and I am a diabetic, and I tried to plead with him to say, look, this is, you know, everybody's out here in the same position. I did everything by the book. I went online, the Maryland website, signed up, followed all the directions, all the directives, did everything I could right, and he would not. He said, I'm sorry.
Valencia says the rollout in Montgomery County has been slow. He says he will go back to the state's website to find out where he can get the vaccine. The state of Maryland continues to vaccinate residents at a slower rate than most other states, this according to statistics provided by the federal government. The state is expanding eligibility and adding clinics, but officials continue to cite a critical shortage of shots to explain delays. According to the Centers of Disease Control, Maryland ranks 35th among the states that have been given the first shot and 47th among those with residents that have been fully vaccinated. State officials blame the federal government for not allocating enough doses. Nearly 450,000 doses have been administered in Maryland. There are now 100 active vaccination providers across the state. For more information about providers in your area, go to covidvax.maryland.gov. As the push to get children back in class continues, the Prince George's school system begins vaccinating employees this weekend. The school district has partnered with the county health department and Kaiser Permanente to provide COVID vaccination to employees. Beginning this Saturday, January 30th, central office and school-based employees can get vaccinated at the Sports and Learning Complex. To register, employees must bring their PGCPS email and must bring their work ID with them to the appointment. Educators and support staff will get vaccinated at the Kaiser Rehabilitation Center in Lanham. The COVID-19 death toll continues to climb in Maryland. The state health department reports 40 deaths today. Statewide, nearly 6,900 people have succumbed to the virus. Meantime, 2,190 new COVID infections were reported this morning. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in one moment.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's HEALTH.MARYLAND.GOV. Again, HEALTH.MARYLAND.GOV. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Welcome back. Maryland's Board of Public Works approves a settlement for the family of Jordan McNair, who died during a university football practice. The $3.5 million settlement passed unanimously by the board yesterday. The 19-year-old offensive lineman for the University of Maryland was hospitalized after he collapsed on the field due to heat stroke in May of 2018. He died 15 days later. McNair's parents created the Jordan McNair Foundation after their son's death to educate others at the sign of heat stroke. What do parents and students need while classes are being held virtually? It's a topic that many Latinos have had little input on since the pandemic began. This Saturday, former Senator Victor Ramirez and school board member Shayla Adams Stafford will host a community listening session to get parent feedback. The session will be held virtually and entirely in Spanish with English translation.
Some children probably have a place where they can call their desk, their rooms, and others may not. I mean, I think that depending where you live and how many people live with you, depending on the help that you would normally get, that hands-on that you no longer get, is how do you find that now? And how do parents find it for the children, especially young children who are in elementary school, who normally the parents would go and pick up their kids, and that interaction, I think with the teachers, it's there, but it's not the same.
And how has it been in terms of access to technology for the Latino community?
Well, I think that's what we need to find out more. I think I think like most families, it's challenging, and especially your income level. I mean, I think some families have Wi-Fi, there's no problem with it. Other families may not have it as accessible.
The community listening session will be held this Saturday, January 30th at 10 a.m. To register for the session, go to the site at the bottom of your screen. The county is setting aside $11 million to help struggling hotels affected by the pandemic. It's through the Hotel Resiliency Fund administered through Experience Prince George's. County hotels can receive up to $190,000. To qualify, the businesses must demonstrate at least a loss of 25% in revenue due to the pandemic. Hotels can use the money for PPEs, operational costs, and job training.
When we were looking at occupancy numbers that have gone downwards of 60% in many of our properties over a period of time, that is a serious loss of revenue for our properties. And again, what is important is that our properties are employing our residents, our neighbors, our families, our friends. And so we need them to stay open. We need them to be able to keep the lights on.
You can apply for the grant now until February 24th. In other news, Maryland Senate Democrats want to add $520 million to Governor Hogan's $1 billion COVID relief plan. The proposal would include direct payments of $1,000 to about 40,000 residents on unemployment. The plan also includes additional payments to some restaurants, hotels, and small businesses. All three of Maryland's top leaders say providing relief is their top priority in the 2021 session. Former state delegate and 2014 gubernatorial candidate Heather MIZEUR has announced that she's running to unseat Republican U.S. Representative Andy Harris. The Democrat pointed to the events of January 6th at the Capitol, followed by Harris's call to overturn the election as her driving force for her decision. MIZEUR accused Harris and other Republicans of committing an unforgivable betrayal of the country by not protecting the nation's system of democracy. Harris, who is the only Republican in Maryland's congressional delegation, has announced that he's running for a 7th term. Harford County Republican Barry Glassman says he's considering running for Harris's seat. A former Obama administration official says he's running for the Maryland governor's office. 31-year-old Ashwani Jain announced that he plans to seek the Democratic nomination for governor. John ran for the Montgomery County Council back in 2018, but lost. He is now the second Democrat to enter the 2022 governor's race. Well, turning to weather, tonight mostly clear and with lows in the 20s. Friday sunny with highs in the mid-30s. Saturday mostly sunny condition, highs around 38 and lows in the 20s. Sunday rain and snow likely, highs around 36 degrees. And now for the community calendar. The county's Park and Planning Agency is hosting several Black History Month programs next month. For a list of events and activities, visit blackhistory.pgparks.com. You can also call 301-699-2255. And that's your CTV News update. Join us again tomorrow. Have a good night.
I moved to Florida with literally pennies in my pocket and a prayer. I needed a new start. Dacian looks like a very typical 3-year-old until you ask him, "What's your name? How old are you?" My son has a lot of behaviors that would show as being autistic. Most kids can tolerate a variety of foods, but unfortunately for Dacian, everything has to be organic and raw. I wasn't ashamed to go to the food pantries. It's expensive to eat healthy, and nutrition is very important to Dacian's health. The healthy organic food that we receive dramatically helped his social skills. Most people would say, she really doesn't have much of a life. But to me, I have everything right there next to me and my son.
I am what child hunger looks like in America. I am a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites me to a sleepover so I can have dinner. I am a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks during lunch so my friends won't know I don't have anything to eat. I am a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school just because I'm hungry. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day, but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too.